Hello, hello. Hi, Frank. Hi, surrounded by perverts. Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well. Those meddling kids. And I could have fought the dragon if it weren't for those kids. Alright. Hope you're doing well. Alrighty. It's like blowing up in my ear a little bit, but that's okay. Hope you're... Yeah. Today's been a day. I got some news. I probably won't go over it on stream, but I'll share on Discord later. But I got results from my lip biopsy, so it's something, yeah. And I would have gotten away with it too. Yeah, it's bittersweet. It's 50-50. I have a diagnosis, but it does not explain all of my stuff. It only explains some of it. So there's condition, and it's either primary or secondary. So primary means it's the whole thing that's causing everything, or secondary, it's that plus whatever the other thing is. And we just don't know what the other thing is, so fun stuff. Oh well. But like I said, I'll share a little bit more in the Discord later once I think about it. So anyways, let's get cracking. We haven't seen our boyfriendos in a couple of weeks, so let's see what happened. Where are we? What's wrong with our boyfriends? We like our bodyguard on the far left. He's very nice. Yeah. I think we are gonna meet somebody that's like got the same last name as like the cult that was like protecting us, so. Alright, load our game. 6:25. Okay, 7:2. Okay, that's how long ago it was. Wow. Been a bit. Alright. Alright, so 10 fun. The river is crowded today due to the good weather. And since we are disguised as merchants, we are in no position to hurry the other boats. Who shy? Fine! Just make sure to speed the boat up once we pass the Shu River.
神医所住的祝罗村就在水边，我昨日就已经传信过去，他会在村里等着我们的。
I turn to look at Xiao Zhang. She seems withered and dry. Her complexion has darkened a lot, a result of her inability to eat or drink. Even Zhang Dan could do nothing about it. Okay, so Xiao Zhang is the girl who was like kidnapped by a group, and another group was like trying to find her because they were just like, oh, she's just she's not important, she's important. And they don't want to get caught like not, taking care of somebody who's important. But they also don't want to alert everybody that she's important. Anyways, so we have bought her time, but we don't know, like, we're trying to help her live. So we found like a person who like heals, but he's the one with the last name of like that cult that was like protecting my family before. Zhang Dan was the little like Shoto, was that the term? Like the real young, like the younger looking one. Like he looks like borderline kid-like. Tatsuo, hello! Happy Thursday. Shota, thank you. Shoto is a VTuber. Shota is like a cutesy boy. So you can understand how I might mix that up. Tatsuo, hi, hope you're doing well. Happy Thursday. We are just catching up with our boyfriendos on my vow to my liege. We're on a boat. Alright. Shoto Todoraki. If it weren't for the jade fish amulet that I carry everywhere with me, she might not be able to hold out for another day. The most ominous thing is that she's still clutching that dagger with monstrous strength.
西施医术无法卓然，女公子定然无忧。
Okay, so Gozhan is the one on the right, I think. And he was like a prisoner. And like his family swore allegiance to my family, I think. Or maybe the other way. Anyways, he was in prison a second ago, but he like escaped. It was just like, no, we're cool. Fushai. That's me. Zishi. Do you know anything about his background?
因为他的住所在河岸西侧，又姓施，所以当地人都称他为西施。西施从未离开过祝罗村，也不让村民对外说起他，所以什么来历，罪臣也不清楚。
So that's how it is.
但罪臣怀疑他是施家的后人。据闻施家家主曾任吴国大柱，料想大王必定知道施家吴越第一巫的威名，只可惜几年前与人斗法后惨遭灭门。
We know about that, but we were unaware of any survivors.
虽然以上都是罪臣的推测，但亦是敢冒险向大王推荐西施的原因。大王连日奔波，气色不佳，到祝罗村之后，也可请西施为您看看。
Good work, King of Yue.
罪臣惶恐。
A silence settles over the cabin. Shang Feng crosses his arms and stares at Gozhan. This makes Gozhan uncomfortable, so I decide to rest in silence, say something to ease the tension. Look, we're gonna be on this boat for a little bit, so let's calm down, everybody. Shang Feng, I'm a little tired.
我去为少君铺床，少君多加小心。
Shang Feng shoots Gozhan an icy look. Not only does he not give Gozhan the respect one should show a king, but he doesn't even attempt to hide his enmity for him one bit. Survivors? Oh, you mean those things Dad told me never to leave behind? But then, once the dad got booted off, then, you know, what can you do? Gozhan can only pretend that he doesn't notice it and awkwardly looks away. Please pardon Shang Feng's rude behavior.
哪里？幸好不是武相国，我的胆子还受得住。
In the past, I would have burst out laughing at his antics, but now I can't even crack a smile. Gozhan realizes how rude he was and quickly tries to apologize. You know that we're not angry.
可我怕你生气。
Afraid? What a useful word. Considering the armies of Ng nearly obliterated the kingdom of Yue, and the life of their king is now in my hands, he should be afraid. Since it has come to this, what else can be said of our friendship? I wave my hand at Gozhan in a gesture to have him return to what he was doing. I step out of Xiao Zhang's cabin for a breather on the bow of the ship. Although my jade fish is protecting me from the effects of the curse, my chest still feels uncomfortable from the negative air around the princess. I hesitate just before stepping onto the deck. He is very handsome, too, so... Gozhan is sitting there on the bow. Bow? Bow? Starboard bow. On the bow. The button bow. He looks out into the distance where the water flows. His lonely figure stands out from the busy scene of boats coming and going around us. Ah. I swallow the words that I'm about to say. Ever since he begged me for mercy, he stopped being aiju, like a beautiful and fragile piece of glass. Once it shatters, it can never be glued back to how it once looked. Obviously, it is Bobao. Boba. What's more, should he step out of line, I will need to kill him. With a heavy heart, I go back into the cabin.
无耻盼蒙封神，无还苟活，何苦残喘？
My chest is hurting very badly. It's happening again, and it seems far too soon. The previous attack occurred only a few days ago. I cannot let myself be defeated now. I still have things to do. Once again, I see a big white fish swim towards me, out from the darkness. Its scales emit a bright glow, and in that brightness a youth appears before me. Smiling, he says, "Don't be afraid." In my agony, I reach out to him. Qiguang. I said, "Don't be afraid!" It was just a nightmare. Shenfeng! I hear a noise and call out for my guard as I rush out of the cabin. Are we fighting pirates? Just as I open the door, a black-feathered arrow flies right past me and lodges itself into the door. Chaos meets me at the bow. In this storm, I can barely pick out Shenfeng and Goshan. They're leading the guards, who are disguised as crew members, in a fight against a group of attackers dressed in black. Here come the men in black! The attackers are the followers of the dragon god. I draw my sword and rush to Xiao Zhang's cabin. There was something odd about the incident at Tiger Hill. I'm afraid that they may have come for Xiao Zhang. Indeed, her bed is empty. As I look around, I see a trail of water droplets that lead from the bed to the outside of her door. With the fighting at the bow, there should be no guards at the stern. I grit my teeth as I rush to the stern of the boat. At the stern, two followers of the dragon god hold on to Xiao Zhang as they prepare to jump into an approaching bamboo boat. I raise my sword and rush at them. I manage to injure one of the two men, and he gives out a yelp as he falls. The followers of the dragon god are magicians. They are helpless when pitted against any ordinary swordsman who has trained a long time, like me. I take this chance to rush to Xiao Zhang, but the other person uses her as a shield and viciously kicks me right in the chest where the sacred seal rests. Ouch! Damn. If they managed to steal away Xiao Zhang, then everything that we've done up till now would have been all for naught. Lolly! 是？
剽贼！我杀了你们！
臭小子，他来了，别管他们！
I don't think so. I use my remaining strength to rush at them as they escape and manage to grab hold of their legs. The two men land on the deck with a bang as Xiao Zhang slips out of their grip and into the water. I watch Xiao Zhang disappear beneath the fast-flowing waters. Without a second thought, I dive in after her and barely manage to catch her in my arms. Ooh. And then Ariel saves us. The impact of me hitting the water causes me to black out for a moment. I come to while struggling against the current, but my limbs are no longer obeying me. I must fight for control. The water and the girl in my arms are both colder than ice. In the dimness of my consciousness, I can see that big, pale fish again. It's a shark! Donna! 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 Na 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 na. Need to hear that voice more? Need to watch Little Mermaid again? Wally! Is this a dream? Is this reality? Is this real life? Who's calling out to me? A blurry figure approaches me with open arms. The lolly mermaid. I like that. Do 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 do. My chest hurts so badly. In my pain, I reach for my chest, but my arms will not move. Someone is weighing down my arms. A person with a sickly, dehydrated complexion, like a dried twig. Xiaoxiang! My blurred thoughts are clear now. I quickly raise a finger to her nose to see. Oh, good, she's still breathing.
那边找过了没有？找过了，没有。
I want to call out, but I see the men in black and know that they are not my men from the royal guards. Those damnable followers are the followers of the dragon god. Since they are near, I can only carry Xiaozhang quietly into the water where there's some tall grass behind a tree.
我好像听到有什么声音。
你先盯着岸上，我到河里nơi在草里看看。
稀稀拉拉的，一眼就可以看到了，也值得找。
小心驶到万年船。
Suddenly, there's a disturbance as a patch of tall grass starts to sway. I then see a black spear hit the water, and it misses me by a hair's breadth. Grabbing Xiaozhang by the waist, I try to move away from the spear without making too much movement. The dragon god's follower keeps throwing his spear into the water, and almost hits me a few times. Woo! After a few minutes, my body runs out of oxygen, and I cannot help but release a few bubbles. She tooted! She tooted!
娘的，不是叫你看好岸上的吗？
我看着呢。
那怎么有丢石头的声音？
有吗？
我过去看看。
Shit. I carry Xiaozhang out of the water, but before I can catch my breath, a pair of hands covers my mouth and drags us out of the tall grass. Boyfriend! I knew it was our boyfriend. I stare at him in surprise. So it was he who threw the stone that distracted the followers. Gozhang glances at Xiaozhang, who's still lying in my arms, then points to a large log that has fallen into the water. There, in the rotting log, is a big hole. We hurry to the log and hide in it together with Xiaozhang.
哎，水里什么稀里哗啦在响？
总算逮到你了！
是条鱼，个头也不小啊！
娘的，害得老子戳半天。
那几个人，莫不是被冲到更下游去了？
要是冲到关城附近，恐怕会被路人先发现。咱们快走！
都走远了，出来吧。
Where are we?
应该是吴国边境关城的上游。
Followers of Dragon God sure act fast. We are not even out of yet.
你在怀疑我？
I'm not doubting anyone. I'm just trying to think of a way to prevent their next attack.
你的侍卫忠心不二，哼，所以就只有我会出卖你了。
We have never said that.
我们这就去关城，你把我交给吴兵看押，再找个当地人带路就行了。何必在这里跟我说这种外交辞令？
You know that I don't mean it. I've never doubted you, I should.
你只是不信勾结。
The way he stares at me makes the words that I want to say stay lodged in my throat. Tatsu, oh yay! 608! Oh my goodness, Tatsuo! Well done, congratulations! Amazing! 608, oh my goodness. Good on you. 469, surrounded by perverts. Bow, 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 bow. Well done, well done. Meanwhile, I'm struggling with my single digit. I am struggling with single digits. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for y'all. Doing great work with your language learning, keeping your language learning streak going. You believe in me? Thank you. I appreciate that. I believe in future Lolly. I don't believe in present Lolly right now because present Lolly does not feel super well, but I think future Lolly will. What can I do? I'm now the only person who Xiaozhang can rely on. Even the slightest mistake can cause me a lot of pain and problems. He lets out a bitter laugh.
其实，你对阿九又有多大信任呢？怎么从没亲口向我坦诚你是女子？
I didn't want you to fall in love with me, Gozhan. I stand there in stunned silence as I clutch the hem of my clothes, while the expression on his face says, so it is true. I've just been staring at your boobies this whole time, is what he's saying. It's like, your clothes are wet, and now I know you have boobies. When did you discover that?
你以为呢？
Gozhan lets out a snort as he carries Xiaozhang and walks away from the bank of the river. It is then that I see that the clothes on his back are torn and tattered and covered with blood. Was it Lolly? Is this a dream? Is this reality? Who's calling out to me? The blurry figure approaches me with open arms. He saved me in the water! Dude, my eyes are up here. Did you jump into the water when Xiaozhang and I fell in? He walks away wordlessly. Thinking back, there were some sharp rocks at the bottom of the rushing water. That idiot. Aishu, wait for me. We start a fire to help dry our clothes. After a short break, we hurry along the bank of the river to a bridge that spans the borders of Ng and Yue. Oh, come on! This is prime anime romance will they won't they territory. It's like, oh no, we are drying our clothes, so we're in a state of shy undress. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm just looking down at the ground with red cheeks. Oh my gosh. We plan to cross the bridge that will lead us to Zhulao village, or Zhuluo village. Judging by the map that Gozhan drew for us before we left Ng, the safest route would be to go through the border town, where we will meet up with Shengfang, then take a boat up to the river to our destination. As we need to huddle together for warmth, oh my. This could be our last night on Earth. Baby, please. Baby, please. Something like that. However, after hearing that the Dragon God's followers also plan to go to the border town, we decide against it and instead head straight for our destination. Hopefully, Cheng Feng doesn't wait at us at the wrong place the whole time. Poor guy. Poor guy. But a more pressing reason for the change is that going to the border town now would add another 3 to 4 days to our trip, and I don't think Xiaozhang will last that long. Gozhan does not object to this change in plans. He's probably still angry with me since he hasn't said much on our trip thus far. Our trek drags on uneventfully until the afternoon of the second day of our journey. Which proves that the saying, when it rains it pours, is true. As we almost reach the end of our journey, we discover that the bridge has collapsed. How did it?
回大王，前面河流就分支了，要去筑罗，非得乘船不可了。
Gozhan is finally taking the initiative to talk to me again, although he's keeping his head low. I can't tell if he's being humble or just mocking me. Is there not a pier nearby?
恐怕要绕回去关城附近才好。
喂，那边的小兄弟！
别怕见，只是个普通的农夫。
你们是要过桥吗？前几天下大雨，河水暴涨，给冲坏了。
阿叔，这里有船能去对岸吗？
平时也有些小孩用竹排在河里抓着鱼，现在水那么急，谁都不敢下去喂河伯呀。
啊，我们有急事要去对岸，求阿叔给我们指条路。
再急也不能拿命开玩笑嘛！ 你们可以到阿叔村里歇几天，等界桥修好了再走。
We need to do this to save a life, which is why I'm begging you.
作死的拦不住，再往下游走，河道左拐的地方有一片沼泽，
We can fight monsters.
人倒能趟过去，但是那地儿邪门的很，听说有妖怪出没。
我怎么没听说过？
也是最近1-2年才有的事儿。心急要被鱼刺卡，阿叔不会骗你们的，还是等水退了乘船过河吧。
这个阿叔说的有道理。你一路都在喘气，就算你不愿去村里歇息，我们还可以绕回去关城。
We cannot afford any delays. I look at Xiaozhang anxiously. She's still unconscious on Gozhan's back. Although the jadefish amulet is keeping her life hanging by a thread, anyone would be half dead by now if they, like her, could not eat or drink for a few days.
年轻人就是不拿命当回事儿，你们自己多小心啊！
Thank you very much, sir. We will be on our way. Aishu, I'm sorry, but I cannot wait any longer.
大王非凡，足以成国之重。罪臣没有资格反对大王的命。
Why so sassy? This is not an order. Goshan turns around to look at me, and I look back at him with an expression of sincerity, as if the words had come from my heart. No matter what becomes of our relationship, I would never be able to put on airs in front of him. I know that the harder I push on, the heavier the burden is on you. But Xiaozhang is getting worse and worse.
知道了，瞧你气成这样子。
He mumbles as he lifts Xiaozhang higher up on his back, and with long strides he starts in the direction of the swamp. I secretly let out a sigh of relief and quicken my pace to catch up with him. The swamp is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. Although the waters are not deep, the currents from the river have made them muddy. The forest canopy casts dark shadows all around us, and it's hard to watch our steps, making it difficult to walk. Surrounded by rotten trees as far as my eyes can see, I'm starting to become depressed. I don't want to walk through a swamp. That's where you get, like, leeches and stuff. Don't like. Gators.
走不到天黑，从现在开始就得想办法落脚了。
Camp here? Surrounded by rotten trees. Ew. The other day, surrounded by perverts, I was watching a stream. It was it wasn't a live stream. It was like on YouTube. Like it was an upload of a stream for some like VTubers. I think it was like the NijiN group, and they kept on being like, "We're surrounded by perverts." So I thought of you. I'll try and find it. I think it was like Calyx and Zeal. Niji Sanji boys.
天黑了之后就辨不清方向了，倒是能看见幽魂山鬼。你敢不敢走啊？
I'm not afraid. You can't scare me.
哦，那这个大王怕不怕？
Let me wiggle my snakes in front of you. Goshan turns around with a snake covered in colorful patterned scales and is as thick as a hempen rope. He takes it and waves it in front of me. Be careful with that.
放心吧，没毒。
What a little cheeky guy. Saying this, he tosses the snake quite a ways from us, and then a gator eats it. This man is more like a wild man than the king of a kingdom.
不然大王以为我是怎么活过这3年的？
Feeling a sense of guilt, I lower my head and stare at my feet. The life of a king who has become a slave is not just fraught with hardships, but it is also one filled with loneliness, as there would be no one willing to lend a helping hand. What would it be like for a person who has, ever since birth, led a life of luxury to now lead such a miserable life of humiliation? What's more, he has not once complained about it to Lolly. From the hardships that I've experienced since I began this journey, I think I can understand him a bit better now.
这种时候，野人比国君派得上用场。
I'm not... Why is the sacred seal hurting at a time like this?
你怎么了？
35年，生意何欢，不如死。
Wait. Red and yellow, super mellow, right? Red and black, attack, attack, attack! Oh, shit. Da-da-da-da-da-da, red, red. I blink my eyes as my consciousness returns. I realize that if Goshan had been a split second slower, I would have fallen into the mud. I just tripped. I'm fine. I secretly clutch the jade fish at my waist. Although it was only for a brief moment, the bitter animosity that I felt just then makes me tremble.
35年，生意何欢，不如死了。35年，生意何欢，
Dang. Crazy.
不如死了。35年，生意何欢，不如死了。
Get lost. Suddenly, it feels like there's something grabbing hold of my hand. My eyes widen to find Goshan at my side. I'm fine.
逞什么强？你需要休息。
Without another word, Goshan pulls me under a big tree. I cannot refuse him when he's so insistent about it. The floating island that he has us sitting on makes me a little anxious. The ground shifts a little, but does not sink.
你的手是不是受伤了？
I open my palm without thinking. It's covered in traces of blood that have taken the shape of the amulet.
你是傻子吗？
He frowns as he treats my wounds. I watch him bend over my injury, and am reminded of our innocent days when we were just Lolly and Ajur. Those were the days when our troubles were as far away from us as the clouds in the sky. They were such beautiful but short-lived days.
你看上去很累了，是吧？
I'm reminded of the voice just now and shake my head. Here now? Under the tree? You naughty boy. I hurt all over, so I don't think I'll be able to fall asleep. Let's just chat. What you thinking about? We could do the 36 questions. There's like 36 questions to like fall in love. It's like 36 very vulnerable questions. You pop popcorn back and forth, and then you stare into each other's eyes for 4 minutes. And it's supposed to like... Allegedly, you're supposed to fall in love. So...
你以前就特别重视这块鱼。
A friend gave it to me when we were children. It was his clan token and can drive out evil.
那位朋友一定很重视你。
Maybe. Shortly after giving me this jade amulet, he passed away. To this day, I don't know if he died for or for me. First question, where'd you bury the body? Is that... Is that what you're looking for in love? Surrounded by perverts? Surrounded by bodies? Feel like this is a Rorschach test. I feel like you revealed something to us. It's okay. It's okay. You have not said anything to me that I would have to repeat on a stand.
身为王子，国家和个人本来就没法彻底分开来看。何况，如今你是国君。
Trying to be really good about water today, but I still feel thirsty. I feel like I am not hydrated. But I keep drinking water, and I don't understand. Whoop. True. That is what it means to be a king. Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
听起来却不像是愿意做的事情。
I'm afraid that I haven't performed well.
其实，我认出之前咬着我们不放的人是龙神信徒。吴越相邻，当年河驴大动干戈剿灭龙神信徒，我岂会不知？黑衣覆面和刺青是他们的标记。你跟我说句老实话吧，他们是为报仇而来的。
Yes. Mage Shan, the previous head priest of Ng, had intended to unify the Dragon God's followers in an attempt to take over the throne. So we had all the traitors executed.
这也是逼使你隐瞒女子身份继位的原因吗？早在虎丘山上，我就怀疑你是个女子了。
I'm shocked. I never thought he would have suspected me for so long.
你又何须这么惊讶？我们那是太过亲近了。老实说，我到现在也分不清，到底你是吴王，还是你是个女子，更让我震惊。
I feel like he's going through that dilemma of like when Shang is it Shang? Like falls in love with or has a crush on Ping, and then it's like, oh sweet, you are a lady after all. Whoo! Feel like Shang, thank you. And I feel like that's what Gojang is going through. It's just like, I had such a crush on you, and I was like, oh man, I can't. That's the king. And then it's just like, the king is a lady, Captain Li Shang.
也许最让我震惊的
Thank you.
是，你把吴国治理得很好。
Do you really think so?
嗯？
That I managed the kingdom of Ung very well?
真的，我知道这有多难。毕竟，我也曾经是国君。
I can't believe I was in love with a chick. Why did you not expose my identity as a girl?
因为我觉得，我们是同类。
Similar.
你认为是你扮成假小子为王荒唐，还是我从国君沦为奴仆更荒唐？世事颠倒无常，仿佛造化弄人，命不由我。但是，我不认命。
I'm stunned. Goshan gazes up at the sky that is half covered by trees. The expression in his eyes dazzles me, and I cannot look away. How do you plan on taking control of your destiny?
只要一息尚存，我誓不言休。结果生也好，死也罢，我命由我创。
Hearing him say that, I see myself struggling for my life under those big dragon claws as I let out a long, blood-curdling scream. In that instant, I finally understand why Gojaan and I are so similar. We both tasted the pain of loss too many times to allow our fates to control us, to not struggle against its oppression, to take control of my destiny. Goshan, do you want to return to Yue? Goshan whips his head around to look at me with bright eyes. We stare at each other for quite a while before he finally nods his head.
想，
I can punish you for treason for what you just said.
我本来也有无数种方法可以达成目的。我可以欺瞒你，讨好你，甚至在计划为大王献上西施的时候，我都可以暗中算计你。
Please me, oh my. Then why haven't you done so?
因为你能明白我，你明白我，正如我知你为王，比常人多出太多苦处。 我敬佩你，所以我不愿骗你。
He said lolly, not Fushai or your majesty, but lolly. Fine. Once we have cured Xiaozhang, I will allow you to return to Yue. Goshan wears an expression of disbelief, his eyes opened wide. He quickly kneels down and prostrates himself before me.
戒，感激不尽。
Stop. Don't thank me so hastily. There will be conditions that you must agree to before you can return. The countries north of the river have always despised, yet feared Ung. War will break out sooner or later. Although the kingdom of Chu has been heavily destroyed, its foundations still stand. It's only a matter of time before they retaliate against Ung. You must manage the kingdom of Yue well, so that Ung may have another ally. I may regret the decision that I have made today, but I most definitely understand you. Aiju, I want you to take control of your own destiny. Goshan stares at me with his mouth open wide. Then finally kneels down once more and bows before me. The pain in my chest slowly fades and I cannot help but smile. This is a gamble, but who's to say that I don't have choices, that I won't be able to take control of my own destiny? Enough. Kneeling and bowing here on this barren and untamed mountain is pretty foolish. Now get up.
也对。
We look at each other and burst out laughing. Snake!
怎么了？
I think I hear a strange noise.
我也听到了，还越来越近。小心后面！
As I turn around, something smelling of rotting flesh flies at my face. I instinctively reach out and grab it. It's a snake! Snake! Time to eat some snake jerky. Red and yellow, red and yellow. Kind of mellow? I throw the snake down as hard as I can. It is then, as it wriggles nonstop, that I notice that it is black and about 2 feet long. It can't be. As I draw my sword, several black snakes spring out of the water and come at us like black arrows. With my sword in hand, I can smell the putrid stink of snake blood that seems to permeate all around me. These snakes are far bigger than the ones that first attacked me. If any one of them were to wrap their bodies around us, we would be in serious danger.
怎么越杀越多了？
Strange noise I hear seems to be getting louder and louder. I take a quick glance behind me and see hundreds of the black snakes slithering on the trees and rotten logs that barely stay afloat due to their weight. From a distance, it looks as if the swamp is boiling.
快跑！
Goshan throws Xiaozhang over his shoulders and grabs my hand as we flee the floating island. Do you know which direction we need to go?
来不及仔细看了，凭感觉吧。
The bottom of the swamp is very soft, and we seem to sink deeper into the ground with each step we take. We would have been too tired to move if it hadn't been for our short reprieve, although we are not much better off now for it. Duck! Quack, 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 quack. I slash at a snake that is as thick as a child's thigh. How thick is that? What a weird reference point. Mud and snake blood splash onto my face. Ew! I have no time to wipe it off. With a backslash, I kill yet another enemy of unknown origin. Goshan seems to be in no better shape than I. A black snake falls onto his shoulders, and that nearly causes him to slip into the water.
这肯定是那位阿叔说的沼泽精怪。
You don't say! Would normal snakes gather like this to kill us? This music, bum bum bum! We're unable to take a break due to the mountain of snakes. After killing an endless number of snakes, the trees thin out some, and I can finally see more ground than just the floating island.
看来不远了，再坚持一下。
Something isn't right. Can you feel it?
攻击我们的大蛇变少了。等等，他们在拼命向前游。
They're gonna transform into a mega snake! They're going to combine. Are they planning a frontal attack?
一群臭蛇有那么聪明吗？
My legs shake a little. I squint my eyes to better see where the snakes are congregating and notice a dark clump of bush that seems to grow taller and clearer the closer we get. Once I see its smooth, slippery belly more clearly, a black python that is a few hundred feet long comes charging right at us. Ah! Wally! Gojao pushes me away, and with one slash, he gives the python a horizontal gash to its belly. Unexpectedly, the giant python doesn't bleed from the cut. Its belly gushes even more huge snakes. Ew! Ew! There are a countless number of black snakes wriggling in its belly as the wound closes before our very eyes, like it had never been wounded in the first place. This unnatural scene is making our hair stand on end.
龙神信徒，
We look past the snake to see a few figures in black, standing on higher ground, playing a strange and accursed song. Their bodies emit a black smoke-like aura that seems to follow the eerie chant as it enters the giant black python.
果然是他们在搞鬼。
Let's cut off the snake's head.
信徒交给你了。
Before finishing his sentence, he flings Xiaozhang at me and rushes at the giant python with a slash.
臭蛇，冲我来啊！
I tighten my hold on Xiaozhang as I grit my teeth and run to the other direction. Neither of us can defeat such a strange monster. Our only way to win is to get rid of its source, the dragon god's followers. Ashu must have also thought this, which is why he's trying to bait the snake. If I were to worry about him and turn back, I would be betraying his trust in me. We are already at the edge of the swamp. All we need is this last-ditch effort. Suddenly, a person in black lets out a strange scream.
什么？
Goshan's exclamation shocks me, and I turn around. The swamp floor starts to bubble as hundreds of black snakes leap up. In the blink of an eye, they join together with the giant python and begin charging straight at me.
快跑！
The giant python comes at me like the wind, and there's no time for me to make an escape. A strong sense of dissatisfaction rises within me, and my tired body suddenly perks up with energy. With one thrust, I stab my sword into the pitch-black belly of the python. If only I had this kind of courage when I was faced with that giant white beast 5 years ago. I'll take control of my destiny. I cut open the belly of the python with my sword, and it gives a howl of anger, and then opens its mouth wide and rushes at me. Oh! Suddenly, hundreds of swords rise from the water around me and pierce through the giant python. With just one attack, the water swords manage to shred the monster into thousands of pieces. Ooh, boyfriendo unlocked! Splatters of mud fly onto my face as I stand there in a daze. Was that snake monster made out of mud? Or were those swords of water? Woo! Like an unstoppable tornado, water swords fly majestically through the sky towards the giant snake which is attacking Gojan. Katara intensifies. Yeah. Water, earth, fire, heart, air. A mesmerizing figure in white dances gracefully. His sword strokes are so fast that they look like flashes of lightning. His long sleeves sway like the long tail of that big, beautiful fish that frequents my dreams. It all seems so unbelievable against the tragic backdrop of mud and blood. My vision starts to blur from the sprays of water and mud as I watch the giant snake get cut into thousands of pieces by the water swords. The followers let out wretched screams before falling dead as their evil souls leave their bodies. We're saved. My body goes limp like a ball falling from midair, and I tumble to the ground. But I stare forlornly at the figure in white as I'm overcome with a feeling of familiarity. He's clearly... Gojan rushes to my side, but a pair of strong and fair hands are one step ahead of him. They gently pick me up into their embrace. With the problem solved, a long-forgotten feeling of security overcomes me as my consciousness slowly fades. Someone sighs softly in my ear.
莫怕。
He knows me. Woo! The appearance of all the male leads. I got an achievement called
诸神仪式
boyfriend.
太过凶险，我虽然希望你别参加，
Ooh. Alright,
但是这事非姬无子孙不可。
Alright, let us save. Alright. The head priest has already informed me of the dangers. Since you're not afraid, I need to be just as brave as you.
就知道你会这样说。来，这个给你。
Isn't this the jadefish amulet that never leaves your side?
余玉寄宿着玉灵，我自少已无力供养，他的力量早已不逊于我。
Isn't that supposed to be given to your future yin fish as a token of love? Why are you giving it to me? I know this anime trope.
若有什么万一，余玉能救你的命。
Siscon. Then that's all the more reason why I should not take it. What will happen if your powers aren't enough when you are alone on Tiger Hill?
必须先在太湖把龙神精魂封入大鼎，才会运到虎丘以见阵加固的。
I called it.
我这边没那么危险，你就拿去吧，就当是安我的心。等秋季结束后，你再还我，好不好？
Since you feel that way, fine.
今之所愿，唯望你能平安。
Aww. Sunlight. That's a plot twist. We aren't related by blood, so it's okay. So what's okay? I don't know, man. Sometimes they don't let that be too much of a barrier. I don't know. I played this one other otome game, and one of the secret playthroughs was like, there's been like some kind of like presence throughout the story, and it turns out it was a brother, and it might have been that it's like, oh, we're not, I don't know. I don't feel like they outright said we're not brother and sister. And they definitely kept using the word brother and sister. It's like, okay, it got uncomfortable even like reading it. And I was like, like, because I was reading it out loud. I was like, I'm gonna stop using brother. I'm just gonna use this character's name instead of brother. It's fine, it's fine. After a few days of continuous rain and gloomy skies, the warm and gentle sunlight is especially comforting. If only it wasn't so bright. Wait, where am I? I tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition. I tumble out of bed and look around. It seems that I'm alone in a simple, tidy wooden hut. The smell of medicinal herbs hangs in the air. I find that all my wounds have already been treated, and even my usual ailments are not giving me as much pain as they normally do. I take in my surroundings with suspicion. I cannot find my sword. Left with no choice, I pick up a stick that is lying next to the door and give it a few practice swings. Good. This should be helpful. Wait a minute. Where's Ashu and Xiaozhang?
哎呀，小哥你醒了？
A plainly dressed woman appears. She puts down her broom and comes to greet me warmly.
你肚子肯定饿了，阿姐给你做鱼羹，你快先回屋歇着啊。
That's a stick. No, every JRPG starts with a wooden sword. Don't you know? Wait a minute, Mrs. I suddenly feel something holding me back. Looking down, I see that I'm surrounded by the village children. They eye me with curiosity.
去，把客人吓着了。先生下次不给糖吃了啊。
Gentlemen? Motherfucking gentlemen. The village children disperse like a school of small fish and laugh as they run away. I put down my stick awkwardly. Mrs., can you please tell me where I am?
这是祝罗村呐。
Shulo Village? Is there a doctor by the name of Zishi here?
小哥，这就是西子的家呀。
I look around the area to see a simple and clean courtyard surrounded by a few wooden huts. In the middle of the courtyard lay a few bamboo sieves. On them are strange plants and insects that were left out to dry. This really does look like the residence of a doctor. The village woman continues to explain.
你们几个被先生从沼泽救了回来，身上都有伤，睡了好几天呢。那沼泽有精怪，你们遇到了先生，运气真是好得不得了。
That's true. Do you know where the two people who were with me are? Mrs., have you seen them?
那是当然啦。
The village woman takes out a piece of cloth from her pocket and hands it to me.
这是你那位兄弟让我转交给你的。
Anxiously, I unfold the cloth. On it is a message from Gojang. Lolly, I'm going to the border town to look for the others. Please trust me and wait here for me. Ashu.
那个小妹嘛，一两句话说不清楚，你跟我来。
The village woman brings me to a hut and takes out a bunch of keys.
这穷乡僻壤的，倒也不是防贼，主要是怕村里那些小毛头不懂事，不是故意把人锁起来的。
She unlocks the door while apologizing to me. It is dark in the hut, and after my eyes adjust to the darkness, I'm greeted with a shocking sight. Xiaozhang seems to be floating in midair. Her arms, which had been curled tightly in front of her, are now lying by her side. The ominous dagger that she had been holding is also suspended in midair, and is now dangling tip down directly over her heart. If it falls but a few inches, it will pierce her heart. There's a bird engraved on the dagger with gems for eyes, and they gleam sinisterly. It feels like it is trying to read my mind. The village woman suddenly pulls me back as I'm about to take a step in. She has a lot of strength for someone so petite. Her one yank forces me to take a few steps backwards.
千万别进去，会碰乱那些线的。
Strings? It's then that I notice something shiny as it reflects the light coming in through the door. It's one of the many strands of silver strings that are tightly strung all over the hut. It's also these silver strings that are holding up the girl and the dagger, making them look like they are floating in midair upon first glance.
先生交代过，在小妹醒来之前，碰不得那些线。
Saying this, the village woman locks the doors and hands the keys over to me with a smile.
不过他说，等你看过了之后，就把钥匙给你。你想看随便看，就是千万别再踩进去了。
Thank you, Mrs. And where is Mr. Zishi?
他去河边清洗草药了。你从院子出去，顺着左边的小路下坡，就能看到了。
Thank you. After thanking the village woman, I turn around and run out of the courtyard.
找到他了，就赶紧回来喝鱼羹啊！
Is it because I feel well rested, or because the medicine he gave me was so effective that my body feels as light as a feather? It's been many years since I've felt this way. Even my heart feels like it was soaring. The footpath goes downhill. and I can already smell the faint scent of water. Suddenly, a thought crosses my mind. I slow down my pace. My life starts to flash before my eyes, as if I were on the brink of death. Everything that happened in my past feels so unreal. Although I cannot deny that we were indeed saved by a man named Zishi. Visions of a man dressed in white while standing amid that black, swampy water come to mind. I cover my mouth in amazement. It's not possible. This must be the illusion that one has before they die. Ever since the nightmares about what happened at Lake Tai began, the image of that person keeps appearing in my mind. That must be why I'm seeing a vision of him as my rescuer. That must be it. After all, when I went to the Sword Pond 5 years ago and saw the place filled with dead bodies, among them was it? As I try to piece the past events together in my mind, I become more and more confused as to what really happened. Amid the chaos in my mind, one assumption seems clear. If only that person were alive. I run like the wind to the riverside. Next to an old tree that is half submerged in water, I see a familiar figure with his back turned towards me. His head lowered, he's staring at 2 mounds of dirt that are under a tree. I hold my breath and slow down my pace as my vision begins to blur. In front of me is a man with hair fluttering lightly in the breeze. He carries with him an air of gentle dignity, just like my childhood dreams which have disappeared and have never returned. Dang! Ollie. The man turns around and faces me with a warm smile. A refreshing breeze blows from the direction of the river, and all the hardships that I've faced these past 5 years seem to disappear in it. The only thing I can remember is our final moments together, and Yi Guang's beautiful and gentle smile. Today, I finally see for myself in that pair of calm, bright eyes, a thin, fair village man. Although I've changed since then, he is still as perfect as the day we first met. I actually quite like the way he looks in game than he does on the cover, or like the opening title screen. I feel like he's more delicate. Strong looking still, but like daintier. All that hair. If this is a dream, please don't wake up. Lolly? Yi Guang. Is that not our brother's name? Is he our brother?
7年不见，你可别是变傻了。
Reminds you of a spoiler character from the house in Fata Morgana. I don't think I'm familiar. Yi Guang opens his arms as he teases me, welcoming me like he did in our youth, and making me feel like I had never left his side. I choke on my emotions as I punch his chest with all my might. Hold on, I'm gonna look up my vow to my liege. Brother's name? I thought Yi Guang was a brother, not the cult member. Okay. In the visual novel, My Vow to My Liege, the protagonist, the female heir, Tengyu, takes on the name of her youngest deceased brother to rule the kingdom of Eng. Okay, so Fu Shai. Okay, so I just had a little bitty mix-up then. Okay. Got it. I thought, yeah, it's another visual novel. Ah, see. I choke on my emotions as I punch his chest with all my might.
哇，你用得着这么大力吗？
I thought you died. Unable to control myself, I burst into tears. Lost in my anger, the turbulence of many mixed emotions turns into a violent storm within my heart. Suddenly, I'm taken back 5 years ago to the bloody event that happened at Lake Tai. Seeing the ground at the sword pond covered with fresh blood and corpses, I had torn my vocal cords with an ear-piercing scream. I'd once thought that killing the dragon god would be well worth the sacrifice, but little did I know that the price would be so heavy. To secure the spirit of the dragon god, my father had reinforced the sword pond by cruelly sacrificing all the people in the Shi clan. When I rummaged through the mountain of corpses like a madman for Yi Guang's remains, I felt like I too had died. As ever, I failed to save anyone. Never have I managed to keep those most near and dear to me. Why of all people in the world do I survive? Volley. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
为什么要道歉？
I couldn't get to Tiger Hill in time to save you. I'm sorry.
这根本不关你的事，何必苛责自己？
My head is hurting, and I'm feeling dizzy. It almost feels like I'm dying again. Yi Guang lets out a sigh, then lifts my lowered head. He takes his sleeve and gently dries my tears. Under his calm and quiet gaze, I slowly regain my composure. Yi Guang.
冷静些了吗？我需要你听我说话。当年，早在秋季前，我阿娘已通过卦象卜知诸神之事凶多吉少。你我早知龙神是邪魔外道，一旦他吸取了足够多的姬无魂力而邪法大成，世上就难逢敌手。届时覆灭的，又何止你我两族？我爹娘族人始知诸神，为的是心中大义，哪怕最后劫数难逃，仍是我们的抉择。正如你们因为自己的抉择付出了代价。
I gaze into Yi Guang's clear, bright eyes, and am amazed at how they hold no trace of deception.
我还活着，你也一样。我不记恨任何人。
I'm speechless, but I know that everything he has said was from his heart. Shi Yi Guang has always been a generous and broad-minded person. My torrid emotions finally calm down as I sob and rub my nose. I eye Yi Guang's sleeve with embarrassment. It is now messy with my snot and tears. Ew! Very boogery. I am an ugly crier. Yi Guang waves his hands in an act of casual dismissal. The snot flings back at me.
我还以为你要直接断气呢。
What a dumb thing to say! I start to laugh and Yi Guang joins in the laughter. With everything that happened that day at Sword Pond, how did you manage to escape?
阿娘心软，舍不得我一同陪葬，暗中托付族中的一位大佬，万一不测，便施法使我假死，并带离吴国。
Booger reflect technique, Bert.
后来我们隐姓埋名，辗转到了此地，就有了你今日所见的西施。
So I see.
大致情况我已听勾践说了，想不到来求医的原来是你和越王啊。
I thought you already knew.
几天前，一个旧病人来信，请我为他的朋友治怪病。我早知这人出身不低，却没想到他口中的朋友就是你们。
Your old patient should be a relative of Gozhang. So you rushed to the swamp because of the jade fish amulet?
鱼鱼几乎算我的分身，感应到他在附近时，我还吃了一惊呢。
5 years ago, when you gave me this amulet, did you know what was going to happen?
有隐约的预感，但未卜先知如我阿娘，又如何呢？这世间人做事啊，许多时看的都不只是后果。
That's true. It never stopped my father, nor I, from trying to break the sacred vow. Not even when we knew that it would be as difficult as becoming a god.
昨日之事不可留，昨
You really don't care about what happened? Yigong smiles as he turns to look at the earthen mounds beneath the tree. Let's talk about these earthen mounds in this tree. It's very phallic looking. And I mean, maybe this is my Rorschach test. Just seeing pains in the wild. But you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Wiener trees.
去年，那位大佬辞世了，我把他葬到我爹娘的衣冠冢旁边。得闲时，来与他们话话家常，仅此而已。斯人已逝，与人世间切断了联系。活着的人，又何必强留住那些爱恨往事？
I gaze at the 2 mounds of dirt as the river continues to flow endlessly next to me. Seems like I'm the only one holding on to all the hatred and suffering. While I don't want to be tied down by my destiny, I cannot escape its chains. If only there were more easygoing people like you in this world.
戏子，不好了！
阿忠嫂，
放着小妹和剑的屋子在震呢。
知道了。
When we reach the courtyard, we can hear a strange, bestial sound coming from the wooden hut that Xiaozhang is in. Some of the roof thatching on it has even fallen off. Okay, now that they do a close-up of it... I mean, it's stretchy. It's a little bit of a stretch, but yeah, once you see it, it's like, oh, I see. Weeder tree. As I take out the keys, Yi Guang waves his hand and the door opens with a whoosh. The once tranquil light in the hut has now turned bizarre. A thick fog escapes the room and engulfs me, making me feel nauseous and dizzy. The once motionless Xiaozhang starts to struggle as the dagger inches closer to stabbing her in the heart. Oh no! Yi Guang reaches for the silver string, and immediately blood pours out from his fingers, dyeing the silver string red.
好，从天坠者，从地出者，服！
As the spell falls from his lips, the silver strings start to glow a pale green. In an instant, the thick fog and the bestial sounds stop as everything returns to the peaceful state that it had once been. Yi Guang enters the hut and nods his head at me.
人没事，放心吧。
Just now. Was that normal?
不正常。
Yeah. I hope that he turned around and was just like, what? No. Bitch, no.
我在屋中布下2种咒术，一个是银线逆引之术，能引导少将散逸的魂力回体；另一个则是辟邪之术。通常2种咒术都不会有什么动静，除非
Yi Guang holds the dagger gingerly as he becomes lost in his thoughts. Unless it's the work of the dagger? I too was nearly harmed by its evil aura.
嗯，这把短剑并不是邪物，而是神器才对。
Sacred artifact?
对，它的巫力很强，与那座封神的德鼎相比，也能齐半。
I'm speechless. To think of my endless search for such a strong artifact, and it was right in front of me this whole time. We were always under the impression that the dagger was the medium of a curse. But if she's not under the curse of this dagger, why hasn't she woken up?
根据我对巫邪那伙人的了解，他们施术把少江的神魂困在血祭阵中，而这血祭阵正在试试他的魂力，亦是使他昏迷的原因。
A human sacrificial array?
对，血祭阵难成之处在于，它以众咒者的血为媒介，结阵于神魂上。以外力贸然破阵的话，恐怕会误伤神魂。如果没有那把神剑护体，少江走在众咒时就已被夺走身魂了。
So that's why the followers did not kill her. No, even if they had tried, they might not have succeeded.
那把剑和余玉一样拥有气灵，也会互有其主。
But back then, the amulet protected me from an evil aura. If this dagger is so powerful, why doesn't it help Xiaozhang?
恐怕施术的龙神信徒也付出了极大代价，才强行突破了剑灵的防御吧。
From what Zhang Dan told me, it takes 3 lives. This is really strange. The followers must have known her real identity if they were after Xiaozhang specifically. But why are they still chasing after her even after getting what they wanted? And why are they still using the human sacrificial array?
确实，他们布阵试试魂力必有所图。或许症结出在了少江身上。
With that said, was Xiaozhang's disappearance on Tiger Hill really a coincidence? The more we dig into this matter, the more confusing it gets. It looks like we have to wait until Xiaozhang wakes up to understand this better. So, is there anything we can do to save her from the array?
只要他的魂力聚集起来，借银线阵之助，就能靠自己的巫力破阵了。
Her own magic?
你不知少江是巫女吗？她修为还不错呢。
After learning that the dagger was a sacred artifact, I didn't think there would be a piece of more shocking news. Yiguang sighs and presses his index finger on Xiaozhang's forehead. A white light emits from where he is pressing as the silver strings shimmer all around us. It is then that I realize that Xiaozhang doesn't look as withered as before. She now looks like she's simply fallen asleep. Her rosy cheeks stand out against her dark hair and fair complexion. Although she is still a little childlike, she is quite the beauty. She's beautiful, a powerful mage, and the favorite princess of the King of Qi. If I was really a man, I would be happy to have obtained such a treasure.
我渡给了少江一些巫力，但杯水车薪，治本之法仍要他本人以神魂破阵。不过，刚刚似乎是有外力催动了他体内的血祭阵。
Could it have been the Dragon God's followers?
应该是。
Yiguang must have felt that something was wrong as he wears a stern expression. What's the matter?
村外的守阵被人触动了。
I don't understand what has happened, but I chase after him as he flies out the door. We run back to the bank of the river. Okay, look. There's the river. The river. There are already quite a few villagers gathered here. As they point at the opposite bank, the children run around underfoot as they join in on the fun. Following the gaze of the others, I look to the opposite bank.
果然是他们搞的鬼。
Yiguang, we need to get everyone to safety.
别担心，他们闯不进我布在村子四周的守阵。
Saying that, he points to a softly glowing string that runs along the bank of the river. Is that the protective spell?
对，我和大佬当初为防有邪物闯进村中，合力布下了守护阵。那天救回你们后，我猜信徒还会再来，便特意针对他们惯用的巫法加固了阵法。
He looks very pleased with himself. I don't blame him. But They have a lot of people. Are you sure about this?
守镇常年被地脉灵力滋养，无碍。就算没有守镇，我也不把他们放在眼里。
Geniuses are all so proud.
Nothing.
The leader of the followers takes a step forward and points at me. Is he picking me out for a demonstration?
他手中好像拿了些什么。
I walk closer to the riverbank with caution. He lifts a pale green jade amulet that is made even more eye-catching by the followers' black attire in the background. That's Shen Fang's amulet.
好，进去。
With an exaggerated wave of his hands, swords of water magically rise up from the river and fly towards the enemy. The leader of the group gives a sinister sneer as a sudden puff of smoke seems to swallow them where they stand. The spectators give a gasp of surprise. The water swords turned back into water after passing through the smoke. Once that smoke dissipated, there was no trace of the men in black. Yiguang, give me back my sword. Chen Feng and I were on the boat when we were attacked and got separated. He must have been captured by those villains.
也可能是个故弄玄虚的陷阱。如果他们只是为了抓你，用陈峰本人做诱饵，岂不更好？
I know, but you cannot expect me to do nothing, can you?
陈峰也是我的朋友，他出事我怎会坐视不理？如果真的落到信徒手上，我一探便知。
I didn't mean it that way.
我明白，但你的身子虚得很，需要好好调理。还不如留在守镇，等我的消息。
Yiguang looks at me sternly. I feel guilty, but like a difficult patient who has not followed their doctor's orders. Fine. You have a point. I will stay here in the village.
放心，我不会和他们正面冲突的。乡亲们，你们也别出村或者下田了。刚刚那群是妖怪，很危险。大家……
哎呀，原来不是变戏法的呀！
The rest of the villagers are none the wiser as they laugh and chat about what happened just now. I'm the only one who is worried. Yi Guang waves at us. He taps his foot lightly on the water and sails gracefully across the river to the other side. Okay. I am going to save. I am feeling a little fatigued. And see what my relations are. Oh, it was just a chart. I thought it was gonna like tell me like, you are so in love. In love. Okay. All right. Well, with that, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. I hope that y'all have a great rest of your evening. Mine in love at the club. My next stream is tomorrow. I will be doing Study Buddies lunch, so yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yes, thank you so much. It's semi-helpful. It's helpful in that it explains some things, but not the main things at hand. But at least we can rule out some other things, right? Which is good. So, yeah. Okay, thank y'all so much. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll talk soon, okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks for hanging out with me.